How you doing, people? I'm coming at you on a Thursday evening. It's the 8th of November. Try to talk a little bit, and then I'm going to try to chill out this evening. Every day and every week is a challenge to remain centered and peaceful, isn't it? You know, the clock continues to tick and we lose people, friends, close, and artists worldwide. Roy Hargrove, trumpeter, much too young, only 49 years old. That's young. This is the only thing I can pull that I have Roy Hargrove playing trumpet on. Buckshot La Funk. It's one of those Marsalis deals. It's pretty funky. Mixture of hip hop and funk. Roy Hargrove, an important voice in music, jazz, hip hop, rock. He played across the genres, and I never got to see him play, you know, but much too young. You know, there's been some other passings recently, but that one I wanted to mention. I want to talk a little bit about some music. I'm okay. Thankfully, they're here because I don't prepare. Sometimes I do. A Nebraska band from the 80s that I used to do shows with recently had their stuff put out digitally on CD for the first time. From Lincoln, Nebraska, The Click. The Click. And this is the CD. They sent it to me. Flood. They were kind of like Digital Sex, considered new wave post-punk. They never toured out of the Midwest, only together for a couple of years. But this was definitely needed, this documentation of their music. They put out 2 records. I have both. I can't find the 12-inch. It's bugging me. I have the 7-inch right here, and so they were kind of a post-new wave thing. In sound, I thought of them kind of like Gang of 4 with female vocals. Sarah Kovanda, the lead singer, has a good voice, but really had strong stage presence. I do have to brag that, you know, I'm very proud of all the bands I've been in. And Digital Sex, back in the 80s, that was one of the bands I was in at the time of The Click. And we played a lot of shows with these bands and bands like this. Click was one of the bands that would blow us away. You know, I'm proud to say Digital Sex could hold its own. But these guys, you know, I give props. It wasn't just Sarah. It was the whole band, but I want to say in particular what it is that I admire about the band. The rhythm section. Tim Drelishar is on drums, very busy drummer, but very propulsive and distinct on the bass. Steve Warsaki, and I got to give it up to Steve. Matter of fact, if you buy this, guarantee you'll note the bass playing. It's clear, it's quick, it's distinct. And it's propulsive. And Steve, I hope you see this, because still friends with all these folks, mainly talk to them online. I've seen Tim for real in recent years. He came out to a show, actually, and we chatted. But for you folks my age, well, not in my age, but folks that are interested in the history of new wave or post-punk, this band really had everything going for it that it could have been a big thing. They could have broken out. Jeff Runnings of the band For Against, you guys know about them from Nebraska, he writes the liner notes, and I agree with everything he says here. They had what it took, but didn't make it. So I'm glad this is out now. The Click, Flood. Good band, not just from Nebraska, just good band in general. I am not very... Okay, I'm just going to talk some more. Okay. Martin Archer is someone I want to just express some appreciation for him. I told you that Martin Archer is a saxophonist and I guess you'd maybe say a musicologist, label owner. He runs Discus Music. He's been sending me their releases. And man, I'll tell you what, it's not a label that's just doing stuff because it can. Martin Archer is a major voice when it comes to modern music. Here is another release that he sent me that I'm just now getting into. This is Martin Archer and Engine Room Favorites. Safety Signal from a Target Town. Here is a picture of a group of musicians that he works with. He works with a lot of people. But Laura Cole is on here. I talked to you about her recent double CD solo album. She's a player on here. Some other folks that I've been noticing on his releases are on here. And what I got to tell you about this is that this is seriously good. Man, this is the real deal. In one of these CDs, I'm still getting used to still listening to everything, like the Martin Archer Storytellers. This one I still have yet to talk about, but it perhaps might be a quote in here where he says something about the real improvisers, like the art ensemble. I appreciate that humbleness, but Martin, you and your crew and these people are the real deal. This is totally the modern era of improvisation, composition that crosses the line where it's open-ended, but people have voices. You musicians, you Martin, since that Hornweb album, I found it. That's the first time I heard your playing. It's older. There's a definite progression in your playing and your approach since that album, because I played it recently. This stuff is really solid. You friends of mine who are into serious listening, deep listening. I noticed James Drummond over in BBC. You've been picking up on these. You may have known about the label before I found out about it. But sure enough, this is the good stuff, isn't it? The Keith Tippett I played again. This is really very intense. Keith Tippett's piano playing, he's on King Crimson, Cat Food on the first album. Very distinctive voice on piano. This is real good stuff. Real good stuff. That's the stuff I can tell you about. Leon, I haven't gotten back to this. I do want to speak more about it. Before I go, what else is laying about that's been... Oh, see, I need to talk about me for a second. Because I make music, okay? I do make music. And just for example, I've been playing music for a long time, and I archive stuff. Musicians, we keep our stuff in archives, right? On the computer, on CDs, whatever. This is just one box of archives. Different stuff, bands I've been in, solo recordings, experiments, a lot of different things that I've done over the years, going back to the 70s. On my Bandcamp site, I've started to release a series called Archival Memories, where I'm releasing digitally stuff from my archives. My CD that Randy put out, The World is Burning, has given me the confidence that some people may want to hear this stuff and maybe not, but it's worth sharing. So I'm up to the 8th release now, and some of them are free downloads, some I'm asking you to pay for. But that's also going on. I still have music for sale. This is my second CD I put out in 2004, Dereck number 2. And I still have these available for sale. To get back to the archives, the latest one, number 8, is called Exploration. Just put it up today. The cover art was designed for me by Kelly Callier from my band RAF. He designed Sound Waves, which I made a t-shirt for. Let's see if I can grab that right quick, if I can. And for this one, I'm going to and I decided he made another design for me. He made this design for me as to make a T-shirt for me, and I liked it so much I made a release for it. He's done it again, and I released the digital music today for exploration. But that is coming as a T-shirt design, and I'll let you know about that when I have it up online for sale. If you follow me on Facebook, you see that I've had to reach out for assistance because finances are tough, and I'm hesitant to talk about it here because on Facebook I can deal with people directly, and I've actually had to block someone who had the nerve to troll me. People who don't know my situation can be so mean, and that's how you know it's trolling, when people come with negative energy trying to throw shade at you and they don't know what they're talking about and you don't even know why they're doing it. But anyway, sales of my music go towards me getting actual possession of my house back, okay? Don't want to go into it here. I worked long and hard for this baby, and I'm keeping it, okay? And people are helping me do that, Circumstances, as a result of this, I have found out from some people I would never have believed who have been through the same thing and worse. It's really hard to keep your head above water no matter how responsible you are, okay? So that's why I don't take shit from anyone about my business, because those motherfuckers, and I'll call them you, if you're watching, if you're one of them, you don't know my business. You do not, those people who want to cause me more harm, and they're out there, and they're the ones, I deal with these when it comes to the politics too. I never hear anything positive from the red, and yet people swear that they are sensible and smart. But every time I hear from someone who is a Trump supporter, they don't say anything that makes any sense, and it's always tainted with some sort of subtle, not even subtle, but some sort of insult or some slight, or mostly a lack of thought, actual thought. It's sloganeering. It's like people cannot articulate intelligently how they can continue to support such a poor example of a human being, especially in that office of importance. That the behavior is totally inexcusable. Even if he was doing worthwhile things, the behavior is still inexcusable. But I'm following what's going on, and the things that they're saying he's doing are mostly lies and manipulation of information. So I stand strong in everything I say, where I'm coming from, about my music, about me, about my viewpoints in life. It's not about you agreeing with me or not. It's just me having an opportunity to share it with you, and so I do. It doesn't make any sense that any of us should have bad feelings or anger towards another merely because we say things that the other person doesn't say. I have enough sense to realize that and keep my head cool. I'm trying to teach it. Actually, I'm trying to share it. It's like you folks that are really, last thing I'll say, because I know this from education, experience, and understanding human behavior. 98 to 99% of the anger and bitterness that people point towards others is an indication of unrest, unhappiness inside the person is feeling about themselves, and it's being projected. And to those who can discern it, it always comes out in their words and actions. And if people are smart or clever, like reptiles about it, and conceal it, all you have to do is just let them go long enough and it comes out. I've learned this from hard experience. People with ill intentions you just stay cool with them and you stand your ground, and their shit comes out every time. Okay? It's a mad, mad world, and thank goodness for music to help me stay sane. And thank you all for being there with me.